Okay. Nitish looks up at the plane as depicted below. So this is Nitish right here. Looks up to the plane. What is the value of angle fun? A lot of you are having trouble with this, but it's angle, right? This means angle. So what it's really saying is you should have a number. You should say angle fun is equal to whatever the value is, right? So if you connect F, U, and N, right, if you connect those, this is the angle that they're asking for. And you should see the straight angle here, the 180. So if this is 50, then this is 130. Make sure you understand that that's what happened here, okay, to get the 130. So this is all you need to do. That's often worth a whole mark, just stating the fact, right? If you put this in the diagram only, we still don't know whether or not you know which angle you're referring to. Okay, so sometimes that's the angle notation has been asked of. Next is the distance between the Nitish and the plane. So we want this to this, right? So this is, we can call this X, whatever you want to call it, clearly identify that's what I'm solving for. What is happening here? What law am I going to use? You've got the side length here, you've got the side length there, and the angle in between. This is side angle side, cosine law, okay? You don't have a pair, you don't have an angle and the side length across from it. You cannot use sine law here. What about the 50, folks? Is the 50 ever going to be used when you work with this triangle? No, so don't use it anymore. It's just there to help you figure out this one, the 130. Okay, so cosine law states this. I'm going to give you the formula that I would probably have on my study sheet. X squared is a squared plus b squared minus 2a times b times cosine of, what letter should go here? Well, it's 130, but right now I'm just going to make sure it's angle x, right? It's the angle across the side that I'm trying to find. That's what goes in here. So x squared is, AB just stands for the other two sides. So it's 1.86 squared plus 2.75 squared minus 2 times 1.86 times 2.75. Okay, and then times cosine of 130 degrees. That usually gives you 1 mark right off the bat, just plugging in the numbers where they belong and picking the right law. Next, you need to, if there's a square, my study sheet entry has this. You need to tell yourself there needs to be a root taken at one point. So you might have to tell yourself, plug this all in one shot, right? So I will do that because I don't have the key in front of me. I get 17.5978. I'm going to use all decimals, okay? These are the little nuances. If you want full marks, you need to pay attention to the little things. So square root, right? So that's the answer you get. That rounds to 14.19 if you did this right. And that is in miles. So don't forget your units. There's going to be units every single time, okay? If I don't give you units, just write units next to the answer and then you're safe, okay? So that's how you do that one. There is no other choice but to use cosine law. And at the beginning, there is no choice but to pick one. Now, it says calculate the angle of elevation. That is not just a random word. You should recognize what that means. Angle of elevation is always between a horizontal and the line going up. It's asking for this, or it could be facing the other way, right? It's asking for that angle right there. So in this case, between the ground and the line of sight. So it's asking for angle N. Asking for angle N. Okay, that's what this question is referring to. So I'm going to actually go highlight that here. How would I do that? you choose. Because now you have a pair. So technically you could switch over to sine law and solve for that. You could also use cosine law because you know all three sides, right? You're with me here, right? Which one would you like to use? That is completely up to you. I'm going to use sine law. So sine of 130 over the side I just found is equal to, don't just put n down. You're going to get a notation error for that. It has to be sine of the angle you're trying to find. Which side is across angle n? You go to n, you go across, it's 1.86. I don't know if you've noticed, it goes in pairs like that. Always opposite. You cross multiply and divide. You say that this is my unknown, cross multiply, then divide. So it's 1.86 times sine of 130 divided by 4.19. You plug this into your calculator. You get 0.340 dot dot dot. Keeps going. So what's the last crucial step here? You have to use the inverse because that's not the answer yet. What happens if this doesn't start with a 0 here? When you're trying to find an angle, it better start with a 0 or else it's going to give you a math error. So I'm going to go shift sine to call sine inverse, and I can just hit equals there. So it's 19.88 degrees. Okay? So that's how you use. Could I use cosine law? Absolutely. Because I'm getting you ready for the quiz and test, how about we do that? Cosine of n is equal to, what's going to go back here? There's going to be two things added, one subtracted, okay? So this side here is across the angle you're trying to find. So 1.86 has to go back here. And this is 2.75 squared, 4.19 squared. 2 times 2.75 times 4.19. No squaring at the bottom. I don't have this on my key, so I gotta do this with you. Or do I have it on my key? I'm not even sure. The top is 21.659. The bottom gives me 23.045. Watch out for the negative here. There could be a negative in the numerator when you're using cosine law. Okay? So angle n is going to be found by going cosine inverse of whatever I get here. 21.659 divided by 23.045. So there we go. Moment of truth. Shift cos equals 1997. Uh-oh, what happened there? Close enough, that's what I'm going to say. It has to do with rounding, okay? When you found 4.19, up here you round it, that's going to affect the final answer. Close enough, okay? You will get no marks deducted for doing so. All right, I was going to do one more, but we're going to run out of time. We're out of time, actually. Okay, so